All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talkin Investing. You are here with Tom and George. Hello, George.
Hey!
Welcome to the stream. We had a good day for Bitcoin. We had a great day for the Bitcoin miners, or if you'd prefer to call them the AI stocks or the high performance computing stocks, whatever you want to call them. It was a good day when we have a bunch of news. We have some new data that came out. So there's a lot to go through today. And my whole thing just crashed and I had to reset it up. So hopefully I got everything in order because a lot happened this week. You got a poll going? Oh, 50-50. Dead cat bounce for Bitcoin. Yes or no? We are tied at 50-50 right now. So cast your vote. And while you're at it, if you could do us a favor and smash the like button, it helps the stream in real time, big time. We need to get into the algorithm because they hate Bitcoin. They hate the Bitcoin miners. And so does everybody else lately. But I remain optimistic, and it's a little easier to be optimistic today if you look at the board.
One good day.
Hey, listen, I'll take it. This was good from top to bottom. You're going to see this week was still not very good, but this is a strong finish, and I don't think they're done messing with us. So I'll just tell you straight from the top. We're going to talk about the FUD, and then we're going to talk about the longer-term picture. I don't think they're done messing with us, and so could be more pain to come, but I just don't. It just doesn't. Huh?
Come on.
You know how they do this, so I don't know that we're done. They can bring the pain, and they can just keep bringing the pain, but there's so many fundamentals. There's so many technicals. There's no way I'm going to get to all of it today, but I'd like to get to a few things. All right. And that I think show a longer term picture. And again, the next, now we're down to the next, 2 weeks or less than that before now and the end of the year. So very hard to make a year-end prediction. Who knows what happens in that super short term. But I think somewhere, I just don't even think they can mess around with us for the entire first quarter, but they could try. So, I don't know when. I just don't know how to reiterate that. I don't know when, but I have not, not financial advice. I just haven't sold anything, and I've been dollar cost averaging into certain things because if they're going to keep, the longer they keep giving this down, I believe at some point, whether it's 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and that's going to be hard. A lot of you will be gone by then. Most are already gone because this has been very brutal. But I'm going to argue here's a curveball for you. We're in the middle of a crypto winter and we're turning the corner right now back into a bull market.
Wow.
That's what I think is going on.
All right, welcome to Talkin Investing.
Sour Melon Gaming said, Paul versus Joshua fight tonight. Who you guys got? I won't talk about that for too long, but I want to answer that question. That fight, and I'm not making any accusations here, but let's say for the sake of argument, it must be rigged because otherwise I would just get all my money out of these stocks and just put them on Joshua. Because this is the biggest mismatch in the history of any boxing match I've ever seen in my entire life. And there's people that have fought Joshua that said this kid might get brain damage, like serious trouble.
Here we go again. I'm telling you, it's fixed, and Paul's going to win.
That's why I'm not betting, because on the flip side, it's all rigged, allegedly.
All his fights are.
Right. He goes from fighting nobody. This guy he's fighting today is a world-class heavyweight champion, one of the hardest hitting boxers. And so if it's not a first-round knockout, then it's rigged. That's right, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, I kind of agree, but
I'm not betting it. Instead, I'm not going to bet a single penny.
Are you even going to watch it? Is it a PPC, a pay-per-view?
It's on Netflix. in the United
it's on
States.
Netflix?
So I'm not sure in the
Okay.
whole world, but it's on Netflix in the United States.
Tom is totally wrong. Like always. I put the like always in.
About Darren, about what? Just everything.
About the fight, obviously.
Oh, well, okay. Well, put it in the chat. Put what you think. What am I wrong about? Tell me what I'm wrong about. Can anybody tell me what I did wrong?
I wonder how that whole thing's going to end up, by the way.
Which thing?
The whole Logan's, how they're going to end up, how that, because something's going to happen and they'll have a meltdown or something, or
just not necessarily tonight, just what's the end of that story?
Yeah, what's the end of that story?
Yes.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. They're going to milk it as long as they can because they're making big bucks on it. Where
is it? Is it in Tampa again?
It's in Florida. It's sanctioned by the state of Florida. It's in the state of Florida. I'm not sure exactly where it is. Probably is in Tampa.
There's a big fight in Tampa. He had a big fight in Tampa recently, so I would imagine it's up there again.
That's probably what it is. Darren said, how many weeks, this was before he said I'm totally wrong. How many weeks has Bitcoin been below the 50-day? So I got to look at the 50-week. There's lots of things that you can point to that are negative. There's lots of technicals that you can point to that I think are extremely positive. We're just in one of those points where
Okay, but Tom, let's talk about Bitcoin for a second.
Let's do it.
Did it hold the 200-week whatever?
We're the 50 week is what we've been looking at. The 50-week simple moving average, and we lost that, and we haven't gotten back to it. Let me just get quickly to midway, and then I'll answer that question. A person looking at the miner wallets found that BitDR has already passed IREN in Bitcoin mined for December and almost caught up to CleanSpark's production. So BitDR's going to be at 50 exahash this month. We know IREN's at 50, CleanSpark's at 50. IREN has said they have no desire to grow. I don't think they're ever going to grow from there. They're making money a different way. But yes, BitDR is now going to vie for, there's Marathon, CleanSpark, IREN, and BitDR. Those four companies are just going to mine a lot more than everybody else. In a medium distant fifth is going to be Riot, and then it's going to fall off a cliff from there. There will a couple others will still be noteworthy, but that's what's going on. And that's only a part of BitDR's story. So Midway, I know you've been early on BitDR, and it's one of the ones I continue to dollar cost average into BitDR because the price action on their stock, in my opinion, is ridiculous. Now, it's not financial advice because I will tell you, I've been doing it for a while now, and it's just not budging. And if anything, it's going in the wrong direction. I got to buy some under $10. So to me, that's a steal because I believe that company's got a lot of good things going on. And I think they're gonna do well in Bitcoin. I think they're gonna do well in AI. I think they make their own machines, the next generation of which they're on working on their fourth generation, and I think that's going to be late, but it's certainly going to be way before the next halving, and it's going to be, they're talking 5, 6, 7 joules per terahash, which is just mind-bogglingly efficient, and they get the efficiency of making them themselves. And we can see that their machines work because, to Midway's point, they are mining as much or more Bitcoin than anybody using these machines. So I expect good things out of them. Their stock has lagged like crazy. So to me, I'm dollar cost averaging in. But I know a lot of people have abandoned ship. And I just fear like every time I dollar cost average into one of these, I know somebody just sold that bought high and sold low. And, I'm not buying these from institutions. I'm buying these from retail investors who have just finally capitulated. They've given up. They can't take it anymore. And I don't blame them. It's just, you got to decide for yourself how much pain you can take, but that's a decision you needed to make when you bought the stock. Unless you think the story has changed, I just don't, unless there's a fundamental change or a reason, I do not sell my stocks low, right? Because we know, even if it's not even real price action, these are highly volatile stocks. They're going to go up and down and up and down and up and down. So why sell them when they're down? Even if they don't deserve to go up later, they're going to go up and down. That's what they do. These are volatile stocks. Midway said IREN is likely going below 50 exahash a bit because they're swapping out ASICs for GPUs in Canada currently. Right. So they're not giving a monthly operational report anymore. So they ran to 50 exahash. They could be less than that now. CleanSpark is giving a monthly operational update. They're at 50 exahash. Marathon has stopped giving a monthly operational update. So we'll take a look at all of those companies that did give an operational update, because BitDR was the last one and they gave theirs, and it was a good one in my opinion. But most of the Bitcoin mining companies have stopped giving monthly operational updates. And I just think that is a conscious effort to distance themselves from Bitcoin, which in the year 2025, we're at the end of the year now. We can say it. This was not a good year for Bitcoin, and it was a horrible year for all those things derivative of Bitcoin. So whether it be the treasury companies like Microstrategy or the Bitcoin mining companies, they started the year terribly. Then they had a great run, and this was like 3 parts to this year. The first part was horrendous. The middle was off the charts. So, for instance, in the middle, I got to buy IREN not very long ago, well, like 8 or 9 months ago now, for $6. It's at $40. And the thing is, it was at $75 in the middle. So there's a lot of people that probably are upside down on their IREN, but I got it just 8 or 9 months ago for $6. So there are stocks that won huge this year, but they're all way off of their highs, and it doesn't feel good. So when you look at your portfolio, you can get frustrated, you can give up, you can look at a Marathon trading at $10. That's just crazy time. They have 53,000 Bitcoin. So I just, again, everybody's got to do their own due diligence. Right. It's your money, and only you know your risk tolerance. And only you know your volatility tolerance, because that's where everybody loses all their money with these companies. Midway, thank you for the super chat, and thanks for being a longtime member. Heading into 2026, I'll be about 59% IREN, 26% BitDR, and 15% CIFR. There are a lot of other great deals out there too, but these 3 are my favorites right now. And those 3 all have, I like all 3 of those. 2 of those I own. 1 of those I'm still dollar cost averaging into. And for as long as they're this beaten up, I will continue. And the other one, I got behind on that, and which is CIFR. I didn't get into that in time. And I don't think they're as beat up as, Marathon at $10, CleanSpark at $12. Those 2 companies, that's not what 2026 is going to look like, in my opinion. We'll look at their charts later. They have been much, much higher than that in recent times. So these are lows. They're just getting beat up, because it's the same thing that's happening to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's getting beaten up because they can. So they can, and they do, and we suffer, and we sell it. But I will tell you, I don't have this chart up, but sharks, so there's whales, right? Everybody always talks about the Bitcoin whales. And the whales, some of them took some profits and everybody panicked. But I think a Bitcoin shark is defined by anybody between 100 Bitcoin and 1,000 Bitcoin, maybe. So that's between like 10 and $100 million worth of Bitcoin. It might be 10,000 Bitcoin, which would be $1 billion. So these are ultra, ultra wealthy people. There's whales above that have even more than that. But the people that have a lot of Bitcoin, just last week, just bought Bitcoin in record numbers. So a massive inflow from the quote sharks. And I don't think that's dumb money. I mean, they didn't get the kind of money to buy 1,000 Bitcoin because they're dumb. So, but it's also probably patient money. And this is a pullback, right? We were at $85,000 yesterday, under it. We were at 80,000 a couple of weeks ago. I mean, I just think we're going to look back and go, wow, was that a buying opportunity? But I have several articles. I have some predictions that it just shocks me how low there are people going. And I just don't. I think they're missing the forest for the trees. I don't think the 4-year cycle's over. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. I don't know that there ever was exactly what everybody perceived as the 4-year cycle. I think it had to do with the confluence of a lot of other events that did not occur this time or are occurring much later. And a lot of those are happening right now. So that's why I would argue there's certain charts that really look an awful lot like this last month was the bottom of the crypto winter, and we're about to head out of it. So, and that doesn't mean we run straight to an brand new all-time high. But Tom, thank you so much. This is from Dan. Thank you, Dan, for a super chat. Much appreciated. And our #1 chatter today. Tom, thank you so much for your time. Also, why is Mara such a dinosaur? What price realistically do you think it can get to, man? Marathon's at $10. I'm going to pull up the chart because
You missed Barry's thing, by the way.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Where? When did I miss that?
When Sue Ellis's interview.
Oh. It is topical now, and we're going to talk Hut 8 because they just had a big deal. Bit Digital had a big deal too, but you know what? They're so far gone. I didn't even save that one, but we're definitely going to talk Hut 8 today because it seems like what they're doing is working. I was skeptical. I forgot these all reset, so I got to get.
We should have crazy predictions for this next coming year.
Before New Year's, we should do a prediction. So here's how I'm looking at this marathon chart. I have a line of support at $9.81. Right, that goes way back. You're talking November of 2023. That line is now held for more than 2 years. We tested it a long time ago on April 7th when everybody freaked out and the market crashed. Everything hit a bottom within 48 hours and somewhere between the 7th or the 8th of April. And Marathon got down and touched this line and it opened above it and it closed above it. We tested it again several weeks ago. We tested it yesterday and now we have a green candle above it. I think this is the floor. Could it go lower? Obviously, I have lines below. If things get catastrophic, it could go lower. But this is super strong support. The RSI has been totally reset to the point where actually when it hit this bottom, we were down at 20 on the daily RSI. So this stock got to ludicrously oversold scenarios. Where can it go? I mean, my initial answer is it was just at $23.
I'm on stream. See it.
So to me, I can't fathom a world where it doesn't get back to where it was 2 months ago. because that is not the high from this cycle. That's just a recent high, right? It was up at $30. That's a triple from here. One year and 1 month ago, this was a $30 stock. And all they've done since then is grow. Now, they're not putting out monthly operational reports. They're starting to lean into AI, and they're doing what all the Bitcoin miners are doing. They're trying to reposition themselves as an energy company and a high-performance computing company. And the other thing that's happening is while all these companies are abandoning Bitcoin from a narrative standpoint and embracing AI as their new narrative, the market is having this ridiculous conversation that somehow we were in an AI bubble and the bubbles burst. So I'm not even going to do the in-depth on that. I talked a lot about that on the members only stream, but I will tell you, I think that is, you can do your own due diligence, look up what a market bubble is, look at what market bubbles have been. We have lots of great examples. The EV stocks were a market bubble very recently. Super small cap growth stocks were a bubble in December of 2020, January of 2021. Massive bubble. You can go back to obviously the biggest bubble of all time, the internet stocks back in the year 2000. I mean, we have lots of really clear bubbles, and what's happening to the AI stocks right now in no way, shape, or form resembles anything that happened in any of those bubbles. So you can't call it, you can say something's happening, but you cannot call it by definition. It is not a bubble. It doesn't meet any of the qualifications. And by the way, it's not close. Most of these stocks, I think, are still undervalued. They have not yet priced in the potential for what's going on with AI. And AI, I'm calling it AI, and I will tell you, I'm just going to use the term because that's the term everybody's using. So I tried to fight the fight and explain, and it's just not worth it. All of this stuff is not actually artificial intelligence, but that's just semantics.
So you're going to tell me global warming is not real.
That's enough
with your lies from that mouth of yours.
Tom, who said it? Tom is wrong about everything. Do us a favor and smash the like button. Let's get some.
The thumbs down button.
Get into the algorithm here. We got to see if we can get some people here and talk this out.
I can tell you one thing, Tom.
Yes.
I'm excited.
You're excited about life, about crypto, about
the Japanese carry trade.
Oh, we are going to talk about that today. And just for those of you,
I've been nervous. It's a 30-year high, Tom. 30-year high.
What did I say on Tuesday's members only stream?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
I was
30-year high, guys.
Adamant, and it played out exactly like I talked about. And I'll talk a little bit about that. It's the carry, the yen carry trade is just another lie. It's just another FUD. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I would say to give you some Cliff's notes, look into the concept of derivatives. Because if you think any treasury bills got liquidated in the last quote, by the way, we just had a monumental carry trade panic. It was going to be the end of the world. And within 3 months, the carry trade had grown. So it dropped for like 2 weeks, and then it got back to where it was, and then it got bigger. So I think, if anything, doesn't the Japanese carry trade, if anything, shows you how much our federal, whatever it's called, the feds hate us. I forget who they are. Our buddy there, Jerome Powell. The carry trade, and this is the unwind, and everybody said, well, there's a lot of reasons, and the reason is, and this happened last time, and it didn't happen this time, and I talked about how it wasn't going to happen this time. For a brief period of time, what happens to the carry trade, I don't want to get too deep into this, because I do think nothing will come of it. I said that on the Tuesday stream. It's absolutely nothing. Ignore it. And that's what it turned out to be. The last time we had this scare, just within the last year, what happened was when the Japanese, their equivalent of the Fed, their central bank, raised rates. And remember, you got to remember what we're talking about in Japan. They've been somewhere around zero interest rate for 30 years. So when they say they're raising rates, the last time it was from 0.25% to 0.5%. And now this time it was from 0.5% to 0.75%. I mean, we're at 3.5%, and our Fed is saying we're not cut. We've already priced out a market cut. So we're quadruple them, and we're not cutting rates. So, but what happened the last time was, for a short period of time, people panicked about the dollar, and the yen went up in value in relation to the dollar. Now, all of a sudden, your carry trade, if you're using derivatives and you're highly leveraged, all of a sudden you're getting margin called. If you have a real carry trade and you actually borrowed money and bought U.S. treasuries, then you just hold it until the end. That's a real carry trade. This is all derivative carry trades. So instead people go, oh, this trade is perfect. I'm not going to why would I do that dollar for dollar when now over here on this exchange, I can 50x leverage that trade? Well, guess what? You're going to lose all your money, and none of the rest of us care, because nobody should be out there 50 and 100x leveraging anything. It affects all the rest of the retail marketers in a negative way. But those are the people that lost money. Very little money was lost. Very little actual money was lost on the last carry trade. And by the way, this time, Japan raised rates and the yen went down. So now your carry trade just got basically better. So,
Tom, explain this to me for like a person that doesn't really know anything, okay? Could I go to Japan? Let's say I'm the Saudi prince of Saudi Arabia. Could I go to Japan, borrow money, and then go buy T-bills?
Yes.
And make the profit?
That is what a true carry trade would be, but that is not the trade that's really happening. So what you just described is a pure play, not leveraged actual carry trade. The interest you can make, the interest you can,
just insane. You could do 100 billion, 200 billion, 300 billion.
Right. There's now, here's your danger. Here's your one risk. If on a long-term basis, the yen starts outperforming the dollar, and it stays that way for months or years, now all of a sudden, eventually, your treasury bills are going to come due. And now your dollar is worth less. Even though you made more income on it, it's worth less. So it's worth less yen. And you got to pay those yen back. It's not a U.S. denominated dollar amount. It's a yen denominated dollar amount. So that would be the risk on that trade. But here's why people are comfortable with that trade. This situation has been going on for 30 years, and I don't see any end to that. And most of the people that make this trade don't do what you said, George. They go 5x, 10x, 50x, 100x, leverage that trade, and then if there's a blip, they get stopped out and they're gone. There's no margin call like, here, add some money and keep your account going. You just get liquidated and it's all gone and you're done.
That's funny.
So it's tough. It's tough. But look at how much coverage. You would have thought that the yen, a few days ago, you would have thought that Japan was going to raise rates and the carry trade was going to be a avalanche disaster. And it was zero.
So what you're saying, though, if you weren't greedy, you can make hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, because you're not even using even just, here's the thing, borrowing the money and buying the treasury bills, you're already leveraging. That's a 1x leverage right there. It's not even your own money. It's not like you take, oh, you know what? I have $100 billion. I'm going to go buy treasury bills. No, you borrow $100 billion and at a low interest rate, and then you invest it into something that has triple the interest rate. So even if you're doing it 1-to-1, you're still, most people, the trade, not most people, if you're doing the trade, that's not just a straight investment in U.S. Treasuries. If you're doing the carry trade, you're already leveraging 1x because you're borrowing money.
So I have another crazy question. How come the people that are super wealthy have become more wealthy? And not looking at like the type of losses that like I'm looking at in this game of playing stocks and crypto.
Here's the deal. A couple of different things are going on. I will not argue that all you have to do is look at the top 10 largest companies in the world now. They are so dramatically outsized in the portion that they make up of the NASDAQ 100, the S&P 500. They're enormous monsters. NVIDIA touched $5 trillion a couple of months ago, right? It's down. It's awful. It's $4.5 trillion now. That was a $100 billion company a few years ago. Now it's $4.5 trillion. Oh, by the way, Google just doubled. So the big companies are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't even want to conspiracy theory it, or they'll just shut us off. But there's been a series of intentional things that have favored big business over small business in a rather substantial way here in the United States anyway. And, I'm hoping we roll some of those back.
Interesting.
So to get all the way back to where I got sidetracked, somebody said, where can Marathon go? If you look, $10 is an incredible floor for them. And then nothing's a get, doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but this is a floor. If it just gets back to where it was last year, it's going to triple. If it gets back to where it was in the previous bull market, it's going to 8x. I'm not even looking at an 8x. I think if you hold this long enough, that could very well happen. I'm just looking to get to, I'll probably start dollar cost averaging out when it hits, if it hits $25, I'll start to dollar cost average out. But I think it's going to go a lot higher than that. And that seems unfathomable. It's in these moments where it seems, here's the thing. IREN was at $75. And if I did a poll, which we did 2 months ago, everybody thought it would be at 100 shortly. And instead it went to $35. Because in the short term, that's what they do. That's how they get you. But if you didn't sell it or you bought more, I still think it's going to 100, and I think it's going beyond 100. So, that's my personal price target. With IREN, that's not that much of a stretch. It was just at $75 within the last 2 months. So, to the concept that it could get to 100, but it was just at $4 within the last year. So, that's a 20x, 25x. In what could be a year or two. So what? Maybe it's 3 to 25x, whatever it is. So I still think most of these companies, some were later than others. Marathon was very late to the AI game. And they joined the AI game just about exactly when the market rug pulled in the short term, the AI narrative. So I'll go back to, I'm going to use the word AI from now on. It is not artificial intelligence. If you guys can do your research on your own time, these are large language models. They're predictive algorithms. They use tokenized process to create incredibly fluent output. Large language models. So this is not some kind of hate thrown at them. I think they're the most incredible programs ever built. It boggles my mind that they exist and do what they can do. It's just they're not artificial intelligence. They have actually no intelligence whatsoever. And if you talk to them long enough, you'll figure that out pretty early in. But they are incredible if you know how to use them as tools. I think they're one of the most useful tools out there, and they're just going to find more and more and more uses for them. And we haven't even started the infrastructure that is necessary to accommodate the data centers that we're going to build for the high performance computers. So that is why, to me, all these companies on this list, they are the picks and shovels play. Whoever has the best program, I don't know if it's going to be OpenAI or you know, is it going to be Gemini? Is it going to be? There's a lot of different large language models right now. Everybody's getting into the game. But the point is, the one thing all those people have to do is buy energy and rent out data centers or build them themselves. But then they're starting from scratch. Every company on this list already has a big head start. They have expertise in the area, and they're growing their pipeline of energy contracts. So to me, that's why these are winners. A lot of these are going to win. I think they'll win big. And if we do get a bubble, and maybe we never will, if we do get an AI bubble, then these stocks will go to places that we cannot imagine right now. Again, I don't know that we will get an AI bubble, but I do know this: high performance computing isn't going anywhere. The need for adding energy to the grid in the United States it's a disaster right now. So I think these are solid businesses to be in.
I heard that EVs are going to have a problem because of silver.
See, the rare earth materials, that's because silver's costs a fortune. So it closed on me, but silver, well, I'm going to go open it up. There's silver. This red line here at $49. By the way, silver hit $67 today, a new all-time high. This red line at just under $50. That's a 25-year high set back in April of 2011. It took 24 years in the middle. It never saw this. So we finally, in October of 2025, broke out of that, retested. Now we've broken out, and we've just left the all-time high in the dust. I mean, this price action on silver is, right, from August until now, it's up 84%. This is not how precious metals move, right? This might be the greatest run in the history of silver right here. And gold already had its run, and it's not too far behind. If you look at gold, I mean, that hit its all-time high at 4,300. It's right there. You can see this is 5 or 6 days in a row that it's in striking distance of that all-time high. This was under 2,000. Look at the steepness of this curve. This is what gold did. This is not a long time ago. So let's get under 2,000. That's October of 2020. That's 2 years ago. Gold's up 140%. So you don't find too many examples of gold doing that, especially when in this price range, this was near, the very high end of where gold gets, and then bang, it more than doubles. So silver and gold, precious metals, and you're right, George, the silver is needed for EVs, and the price is going through the roof.
Yeah, I was reading that Bitcoin macro. Did you hear about the Truth Social merger?
This one's a real heads. Let me find my article on that.
Tom, did you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, did you hear what I said?
The Truth Social merger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to find an article. I got something on that. This one's
You
worth
know what
talking
that
about.
means?
This one's a real mystery to me.
It's huge.
Huge. It is huge. Not sure what the heck it is.
Why is it a real mystery?
Give me 20 seconds or less, and hopefully I can find this, and I'll go through.
Those Trumps are opportunists.
No doubt. Trump media stock surges 25% on merger agreement, and it wasn't just the stock. Any Trump coin or token related all went off on this. Trump media stock surges 25% on merger agreement with nuclear fusion firm TAE Technologies. What confuses me about this is Trump media. They're going to do a merger with a fusion technology company, nuclear fusion. Now, this is cutting edge. By the way, right now there's lots of nuclear fusion companies, but there's no nuclear fusion power plants because we can't do it. We don't know how to do it. We're trying. We're throwing billions of research and development because if they can crack this puzzle, it changes
You're going to start saying that you don't believe in what is it? Quantum physics?
This is
quantum computing.
Well, number one, I don't believe in quantum computing, as you well know. So I'm the naysayer. I'll believe it when I see it. There's not a working quantum computer. And if you bring up an article, I'll debunk it because they say very misleading things about quantum computers, and they act like we're already someplace that we are hoping to be in 10 or 15 years. And I personally doubt we will be there because if you look at the trajectory of regular computers versus a quantum computer, the very, very narrow areas where they're actually more useful, the regular computers will be so close to caught up 15 years from now that they don't have a market. There's only a few things that if they did work, they do better than regular computers. So that's my hot take, if you will. Although if you've watched the channel, you know that's my feelings on quantum computing. And by the way, that doesn't mean the stocks won't go to the moon. We've already seen that happen multiple times, and it could easily happen again. They put out news, a quantum computer solved a problem in 15 minutes that would have taken a regular computer 100 trillion years. And it's like, you see that headline and all of a sudden every single quantum computing stock goes up 50% in one day. The problem is, if you understood what they were doing, it's misleading would be the understatement of the year. They're comparing apples and oranges, and it's just not true. It's just not true. The quantum computer did not do really anything, and it certainly didn't do in 15 minutes what, it would take a normal computer trillions of years to do. That's all just nonsense. And it has to do a lot with algorithms, and when they make those comparisons, they're comparing what they think a computer did. Although if you research it, you'll see they don't even really know if the quantum computer got the right answer. It's just an answer. It's impossible to verify it because, like they said, it would take a regular computer 100 trillion years. So, and they're comparing that to brute force on a regular computer. So they're not even allowing the regular computers to use any algorithm shortcuts. So they're comparing just sheer brute force from a regular computer to a high-level algorithm on a quantum computer. So it's apples and oranges. And again, my guess is most of the time they've answered it, the answer is wrong because they don't have any way to verify the answer. So have this conversation with ChatGPT or Grok or whatever, and they will tell you what I'm saying. This is how it works. So anyway, we're not here to talk about quantum computers. And again, that doesn't mean they're not a good investment, because you get one of those news. We've seen it. The quantum computer did this. Microsoft said they just advanced on this, and then all of a sudden, all the little quantum computing companies, bam, up 30%, 40%, 50% in a day. They're more volatile than these things are. You got me going on that, George. I didn't bring up quantum computers.
I'm just curious, you know. I want to see what the audience thought. If Marathon's a good buy right now, we got 65% say yes.
That's not bad. That's not bad in what is right now a very bearish environment. We're in a bearish environment. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. Here's what confuses me about this. So again, there is no nuclear fusion, and that doesn't mean there will never be nuclear fusion. A lot of people think we are on the brink of a breakthrough, and within somewhere between 3 and 10 years, we are going to be able to start building nuclear fusion power plants. I'm going to show you how efficient these are, because I think it talks about it down here.
The problem is, it's just we have a hurdle that people don't understand that we're up against for the next 3 years.
Which is
no power.
Oh yeah, but that's to our benefit. That just means our companies are going to do better, because we're the ones who have the power. Here, I saved this search because I want to go down. I said, how much more powerful is fusion than fission, which is what we use right now in a nuclear power plant. But that's not the comparison I want to show you. Give me the answer. Against fossil fuels like coal and oil and gas, fusion produces roughly 4 million times more energy. So
he was gunned down into his apartment. Wow.
Ooh, what? What happened?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
So
no, the person that developed the fusion technology.
Oh, we just had a fusion physicist that just murdered at MIT. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, the first thing that popped into my I don't know what's going on with that. There's a lot of bad things that have happened. We've had a lot of shootings and killings and murders, and this guy was working on the absolute cutting edge of nuclear fusion. And, I don't even want to get into the conspiracies because I don't even believe it. I think it was an unfortunate act of violence. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think he's actually not Jewish because, and I'm not 100% positive, but I think I saw somebody reporting initially that was their thought process, and they may, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. Anyway, ultimately, if we get nuclear fusion down, coal, oil, all that, 25 years from now, that'll all mean nothing. We have no use. So,
see, but why would you kill him? I don't think that. I don't get it.
Why would you kill that guy?
Yeah.
Why do people do what they do? Why does anybody go do any of these shootings? They're maniacs. So I don't know. This pumped the stock. But, I mean, what a weird match. A social media company that also is kind of a Bitcoin hodl company that also works on nuclear fusion. That's the new Trump media. But it was good for the stock.
Dude, that's crazy. This guy was only 51?
It's bad stuff, man. I mean,
I was encouraging my kid to go here, too, by the way. No, 47.
It's.
I mean, I I won't get going.
Corey, thanks for the compliment. Much appreciated.
There's a lot of trolls in there today, Tom.
Well, there's going to be, and I started by saying, today was a great day for Bitcoin miners or AI stocks or whatever you want to call them, but it hasn't been a great week. It's been it was a bad November. It's been a bad December. It's been a tough fourth quarter. We got duped, right? If you guys remember, the rhetoric was starting in October, the fourth quarter was going to be solid gold for Bitcoin. And
all I could tell you, Tom, I just looked at the total market cap of crypto, and it's 2.9.
Mind-boggling.
My first thought would be 10 trillion. Then my second thought was 6 trillion. So I missed it by wee amounts.
but maybe what you did is miss it by 3 months.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say. When we get moves, they can be violent in this sector.
It just sucks, Tom, to be. I didn't know I could lose as much money as I could, and I don't know why. I'm 100% comfortable. By the way,
that's a good place. That's the place you have to be to invest in stuff like this. You just have to know in your
I
gut.
still think Hive's going to $100. That's how stupid I am.
Yeah, and it's at under $3 now, so that's a 30 more than 35x.
I really haven't changed that mind.
And that's where I'm saying, if there's a bubble, they want to tell us the bubble's already burst. We never had a bubble. If there is a bubble, and there's two bubbles, because we could have a crypto bubble, because I think the 4-year cycle is over, and it worked while it worked, but there's so many other monumental variables that have entered. The 4-year cycle was working fine when cryptocurrency was a tiny niche thing that only those who cared about it were interested in. They followed the charts along that 4-year cycle. Now, more money came into Bitcoin in this cycle, 3 times as much money, actual real dollars, got invested in Bitcoin in this cycle than in all the other previous cycles put together. So now all of a sudden, there's some real skin in the game. Now you're not going to get, right? BlackRock's not interested in an 80% pullback in Bitcoin. Bank of America is recommending their wealth management people are recommending to their clients up to a 4% of their portfolio being Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. They are now embracing, and that just happened last week. Vanguard finally came out and allowed their customer. They weren't even letting their customers buy the Bitcoin ETF. So that's $10 trillion that just started getting access to Bitcoin, a few weeks ago. I want to show you let me find an article. I want to show you what they had to say about it. So here's Vanguard. And by the way, I'm about to say a sentence and I don't even know what it means. Vanguard exec likens Bitcoin to digital labubu. Is that correct, George?
Not good at this stuff.
I don't know what this is. It's some kind of nonsense. It's these. See this thing?
Ooh,
that's
sexy.
That's what Vanguard thinks Bitcoin is.
What?
So Vanguard's John Americs likens Bitcoin to a digital labubu, and you guys can if anybody has a clue what this is, you can tell me if I'm mispronouncing it. I probably am. Viewing it as speculative rather than a long-term investment. Americ's
This could be the stupidest thing I've ever read in my life.
This is Vanguard. This is Vanguard FUD, right? Because they don't have a BlackRock ETF, and they banned their people from even buying any Bitcoin ETFs for the last year and a half. So here's why. Here's the Vanguard won't launch its own crypto ETF, but provides access to regulated crypto investment vehicles without advising clients on buying. So they have not done what the Bank of America just did last week, which is they are going to roll out in 2026. They're going to say, hey, everybody, we think it's a good idea for you to have up to 4% of your portfolio in Bitcoin. Vanguard's not doing that. Vanguard for the last year and a half said, we forbid you to spend any of your money in Bitcoin. So you can only imagine how their ultra high wealth customers felt about that. And now they're calling it, this is the same as Jamie Dimon called it the pet rock, for those of you old enough to remember. And I'm suspecting whatever this Lulu thing is here, now Vanguard's calling it a digital Labubu.
You might want to get that crypto name and start trading it.
Right. We should, let's make a coin. Digital Labubu. Yeah. It sounds like it's the big thing. It's the next big thing.
Labubu. I bet you it's already out. Let's see. Let's look it up.
So this is just straight FUD, right here. Vanguard exec. It's just a FUD article on cryptocurrency. They hate cryptocurrency.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Doug's asking if I'm buying TMF. So the real answer is I haven't made my first purchase yet, and I'm late on it. I bought some more when these couple of things, when BitDR got under $10, the TMF purchase I was going to buy, I bought BitDR. But that's urgent. That's my number one thing I want to start getting into. And I do think we're early. And this is from Doug. I think we're early on this, but I do think there'll be a short window of time, anywhere from 3 to 6 months to dollar cost average in, build a nice position. And I think that is going to take off. And that's essentially, it's a leveraged play, assuming that long-term rates are going to come down over the next couple of years. And I believe that is extremely likely. So I view that, for me, again, not financial advice. You guys got to figure out what these are and decide what you want to buy. But that is the next thing I'm going to add. I already planned on shifting from the Bitcoin miners to TMF, and I didn't do it because I'm getting a little greedy on the Bitcoin miners. But TMF is my next position I'm going to build out. Just, again, not financial advice. That's what I'm doing. Doug, have you bought any? Is anybody else getting in on this? Now, it's a leveraged trade, so if it goes wrong, it's not good. But I can't fathom the long-term rates not coming down over the next couple of years. I think 2026 is going to be the year of rate cuts like nobody is anticipating. The market is not building it in. They're believing this ridiculous narrative that, here, we got a jobs number last week that was worse than we thought. Unemployment at 4.6%, the highest in 4 years. Now, let's compare and contrast. We got CPI data this week. The annual inflation rate in the U.S. came in at 2.7% in December of 2025, the lowest since July, below the forecast of 3.1%. Now, I will tell you, in all the time I've done this, I've never one time seen them miss by this much. This came in so much better than expected. This is the biggest miss I've ever seen. Now, a part of that is probably because for the first time ever, they didn't even do the data for October because the government was shut down. They're so far behind. They just said, forget it. We're not even doing October. So there's no month over month. November is year over year.
66, I guess.
So from a year-over-year standpoint, we are at 2.7%, and you can see 2.7, 2.7, and these charts are misleading. This is 2.3. This looks like it's drastically lower because the chart starts at 2.3. So this is all in a very tight range, and if I zoom out, it'll make more sense. Right? This was our problem. 2022 was our nightmare. Everybody right now is upset at affordability and, things cost too much money. Just take a look at this chart. And the next time you're mad at the grocery store, remember, it was 2022 when your buddy Jerome Powell was saying, don't worry about inflation. It's transitory. We don't need to raise rates. We're going to keep them at zero. We don't need to do anything. Doesn't matter that we haven't seen these interest rates, these inflation rates in 40 years. It's all transitory and it's not a problem. So this was a full year and a half of just monetary policy disaster, in my opinion. And it has led to what, we're all feeling, which is it's going out to dinner is more expensive. Getting groceries is more expensive. But it's not because, if I zoom back in, it's not because of the last 12 months where we've been at 3 or less. Remember, our 50-year historical CPI number is 3.5, which means for the last year, and it's really the last year and a half or 2 years, we've been under the 50-year average. We're not at the target rate. They would like to get this down to 2, and we've done that before, and I think that it can be done again. But the historical average is 3.5%. We are not in an inflationary period. So when you've got inflation a third or a quarter of what it was 2 years ago, and at the same time, you've got unemployment at a 4-year high, how can the Fed sit there and say, I'm more worried about inflation than I am about jobs? So no rate cut for you. And that's what they're doing. And if I go show you, you'll see this keeps getting lower. This is the meeting at the end of January. We're still a month and 10 days away from this meeting, and there's a 22% chance of them lowering rates. We already got, and here's the thing, I don't know what catastrophic number will move them off of this, because we already got a bad job number, which should have made this go up, and then a week later we got a phenomenal inflation number that should have made this go up even more, and with those two data points, this actually went down. So I would say you can mark it in pen. There is no rate cut at the January meeting. But I will follow that by saying they can only wait so long, and Jerome Powell's gone in May. So by the end of 2026, you're going to be looking at rates, in my opinion, that are drastically different than this. You've got a administration that wants rates at 1%. They're at 3.5% right now. So I don't think you're going to be seeing 25 basis point rate cuts. When the time comes, this is going to go in the right direction. This circles all the way back to Doug's question on TMF. So that's my opinion. That's my theory. Guys, enjoy this content, or if you want to help us out, if you could smash the like button, the thumbs up button, it helps the stream out a lot. It's much appreciated.
Just so you know, if you ever try to get a trademark, hire an attorney. Just to let you know. Don't ever try to do it by yourself.
Not easy.
No, I fell for one of the scams.
Oh,
and now they're trying to charge me another $3,500. It's like, shit, if I would have known that, I just would have done.
You should do what they're doing. Just
go
on the other side of it.
Yeah. But with ChatGPT nowadays, you can usually get the answer quickly.
Right. So let's see. Is Mara a good buy right now? 66% say yes. 34% say no. Where did we start? We had a 50. Is this a dead cat bounce for Bitcoin? Was just about 50-50. We're about 2/3 saying Marathon's a good buy. Let's get something. Let's get something else going here. Got something, or you want me to do something?
No, you it's all you, brother.
All right. Type a poll, and while you're doing that, you can look at these green numbers. I'm sure you've all already looked at them. Today we had double-digit moves in many of the, I'm going to still call them the Bitcoin miner stocks, the high-performance computing stocks, the AI stocks, whatever you want to call them. All right. What do you guys think? And we're starting to make some distinctions. And I noted a few. Will the high performance computing / the AI stocks rocket in 2026? And I gave a couple of different answers. Yes, they'll have a bull market. Yes, they're going to go into a bubble, which is another story altogether. Or no, it's just 2026 isn't going to be a good year, even though these stocks are Bitcoin and high performance computing. So if we look today, just as a note, IREN, which is by far the largest of these companies by market cap, was up 11.5% today. Riot was up 8%, Cleanspark 7.5%, BTDR up 10%, Bitfarms up 11.5%. HUT, which had news, which we'll get to next, is up 14% today. ABTC up 11%, 12%. And even the laggers, like Marathon was up 5%. Bitcoin was up 4%. Marathon was up 5%. TerraWolf was up 6%. Hive was up 6%. I mean, Core Scientific 6% and 7%. There's nothing wrong with those days. It's just some of the others had an even better day. And this was top to bottom a very, very green day. And you can see yesterday we closed at 84,500-ish. And we're over 88,000 right now. And that's still to zoom out just a little bit. Remember, this is still the bottom of our trading range. This is the actual bottom of our trading range right here. Could we go a leg lower? Then that would be a new bottom. But you got to go back. You got to go back to April of 2025 forward. This is the bottom of our trading range. So, and we got as high as $126,000. And you will see, I've been saying separation. So that this line here at $85,000 has held up like a champ. Look at all these days. It candlewicked down to it, candlewicked down to it, candlewicked below it. Today, candlewicked and touched it, but we opened and closed above this today. And this is Bitcoin one day. The daily RSI looks like, it bottomed out down here around this time frame. And, now we're hanging around. It's bouncing around 50. And we'll have to see if it can break through 50 and make a run up to 75 or 80 or 85. That's when we get a nice big run with Bitcoin. So is that ahead? I don't know. But if you zoom out, you'll see like we have not left our trading range.
Oh, really? Really? Oh,
This was about a month ago that we had that freak out day and we got down to 80,500. And we haven't really been below 85,000 since. So we're trading in a super tight range. A lot of what I'm reading is that with the options activity, people are protecting themselves at around 85,000 on the bottom and 100,000 on the top for the next couple of months. So the market seems to believe we're going to trade sideways for a little while. And that very well could be. All three things are on the table, right? There's lines below this line. We could retest. We were just down at 80,000 last month. We could retest 73,000. This line at 69,000 goes all the way back to. I'm just saying, this goes all the way back to the previous bull market. That was the peak in November of 2021. Could we retest the previous peak as a low in this market? It could happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we have been doing some really nice consolidation. And again, there's a lot of indicators that look like this is how Bitcoin behaves at the very bottom of a crypto winter. I'm going to go, let's see if I got this. Okay. This is the Bitcoin yardstick. This is from Glassnode. So here is 0. This is okay. So I've been trying to do this to help explain things. I'm just having Google's Gemini do it for me. What does a negative Bitcoin yardstick mean? A negative reading on the Bitcoin yardstick suggests that Bitcoin is currently undervalued or cheap relative to its historical norms and the energy used to secure the network. So this compares the energy used, understanding the Bitcoin yardstick. The Bitcoin yardstick is a valuation metric similar in concept to a company's price to earnings ratio, designed for long-term analysis of Bitcoin's market cycles. Calculation is calculated as the ratio of Bitcoin's market capitalization to the hash rate, normalized over a 2-year historical data set. So market cap of Bitcoin to hash rate, if you go look at this chart, I actually circled some points. So I copied this chart and circled it. If you look, we're down here. So I'm going to zoom back in and show you where that is. We're down at somewhere around negative 1.6 standard deviations from the norm. The only other times we've ever been there in history, if you go take a look, this was the absolute bottom of the bear market, December of 2022. That's the last time we were there. The time before that, the virus collapsed for this short period of time and then ran up. The time before that, prior to the 2017, so early 2017, before we had a giant bull market. So what do all these have in common? We bottom out, we get negative on the yardstick, and what happens next? Brand new the yardstick spikes, and Bitcoin hits a brand new all-time high. That's the 2017 all-time high. We bounce under over a standard deviation below. The next thing that happens, the yardstick bounces, and we hit Bitcoin's new all-time high. This was, that double top we had in 2021. Then what happens? This bottoms out, and we're at the absolute bottom of the crypto winter. But this didn't spike yet. We've had 3 moves here, and we keep hitting higher highs, but we're nowhere near where this goes to so when I say this isn't like previous cycles, I'm looking at hundreds of charts that look like this, that are saying we're not doing this time what we did in other cycles relative to all of these different benchmarks. And what this chart is saying is, right now we're in the bottom of a crypto winter, and we're about to have, and we don't know what about to means. Is that 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now? We're about to have a historic run in Bitcoin. That's what's happened the only other times this indicator has ever gotten to this point. So, and we know the network just keeps growing and growing and growing, and Bitcoin's price has lagged. There's a lot of other indicators that look like this that are showing like there's more signs that are screaming this is the bottom than this is the top. And there's no way to look at this chart and say, you know, we're at negative 1.6, where we've only really other been 3 other times, and they were the worst 3 moments in the history of Bitcoin. So we must be at the top. We must be at the peak of the crypto top, and it's down from here. Right? This chart just is not saying that. It's saying 100% the opposite of that. Bear in mind, this is one chart. So I try to bring as many different charts as I can to this channel over the course of time, because you got to take, you know, the more pieces of data that we can look at, the more we can try and put the puzzle together. And all we can each do is make our own investment decision. Does adding this to your puzzle make you more bullish on Bitcoin and think, hey, maybe we're not about to go to zero? Maybe this is the pain. Right? We got a 36% pullback. No, that's not a crypto winter, but I've been saying for 2 years, we're not going to have any more crypto winners. We're going to have bull markets. We're going to have bear markets. That's my opinion, right? I don't know that as a fact. That's my opinion. And I think that's exactly what's playing out. We're finishing up a bear market right here, and we're about to swing out of it, and we don't know what that means. We don't know if that means a month, 5 months. And that's the hard part, because 3 months from now, when we're saying the same thing, you go, oh, this is a broken record. This is never going to get fixed. And we've been saying this for a long time. So a lot of people have already gotten out and sold everything a lot lower than they bought it. For all I know, it's going to get worse before it gets better. But when I look at bigger picture things like this, it's telling me this is what a bottom looks like.
This is what a bottom looks like.
So let's take a peek in. If you haven't voted on the poll, vote on the poll. If you have not smashed the like button, do us a favor if you would be so kind. Hit the thumbs up, smash the like button. It helps us in real time. I don't even see the like count anymore, George, so I have no idea where we're at.
Hang on, let me refresh it. 74.
All right, we're going for 100. Do us a favor, help us get to 100. That's our live stream
Christmas
goal.
present.
That's right. So let's see. I'm going to guess, George, Christmas is next Thursday.
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to guess next Friday we skip the live stream. It's a holiday.
Okay.
We very
I'll take
rarely.
you out for a beer time.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He'll be here. That's
So
what
we'll do
I'm
the member
thinking.
Stream next week.
Well, definitely member stream is on. So for the members, you'll definitely see us Tuesday. But I just don't think anybody, after a half day on Wednesday, the market being fully closed on Thursday, I don't really think anybody's going to care about what's going on next Friday. I think we'll get next to nobody. And I understand people are spending time with their family, and that's much better than this.
I shouldn't tell you this.
What?
I'm not going to tell you what I just did, but I did it.
Oh boy. Was it buying or selling?
Neither nor. It's a current event thing that just happened today.
Ah.
And I downloaded all the information. You had to wait in line to get onto the site.
Cryptic. Okay, so this was some news that broke. Oracle had bad news last week, and everybody pressed the panic button. It went down, and Oracle is in big trouble. And then they turn around. Now they get this big news. Oracle TikTok deal lifts AI mining stocks as Bitcoin tags $88,000. So Oracle shares jumped 6% in pre-market. They ended up going up more than that in the middle of the day. I didn't look where they closed. They were up quite a bit. And this is from today. As TikTok's U.S. agreement helped calm the AI bubble fears. So here we go again. AI bubble fear. People think Oracle's in a bubble. Go take a look, and you guys figure it out for yourselves. After a volatile macro week. So AI bubble fears, AI bubble fears, AI bubble fears. The bottom line is Oracle needs a ton of high performance computing power. Who they going to go get it from? IREN, CIFR, Cleanspark, etc., etc. Or Scientific, or Weave. So this just happened today. So there are good things happen, but they still got to throw this AI bubble stuff in there. Okay, here. I'm just jumping all over the place for a few minutes because there's a lot, and I usually don't get to a lot of this stuff. Latest Bitcoin bull turns bear. Fidelity director warns of a year-long crypto winter. I love this because the more of these articles we see. Fidelity Global Macro Director Jurian Timmer, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong as well, has called the end of the latest Bitcoin bull run while highlighting gold's continued bull market strength. Fidelity Global Macro Director Timmer says Bitcoin's October peak near 125 aligns closely with prior 4-year cycles in both price and time. So this is a 4-year cycle analysis. Timmer suggests 2026 could be a, quote, year off for Bitcoin with key support seen between 65,000 and 75,000. Timmer contrasts Bitcoin's recent weakness with gold's strong 2025 performance. We looked at silver and gold, which skyrocketed in 2025, and Bitcoin did not. As of this moment, it's down for the year. Just a couple of percent, but it's down. Noting gold is behaving as expected in a bull market by holding on to most of its gains during its latest correction. I think we are experiencing a confluence of things, including just market manipulation and FUD, that is temporarily giving us some bottoms here and some buying opportunities. I don't know how long they're going to last. I really like to reiterate that because they can play this game, but in the end, this 4-year cycle, and I'll keep every Friday, we'll talk a little bit more about it. About the reasons why I think it's over, and not just for this. This isn't a special cycle. This is the new normal. On top of this being the new normal, which is for now altcoins, don't have the same level of confidence in. But the top 10 coins, including obviously Bitcoin and the top 8 or 10 coins, I don't think are going to have any more crypto winners. And I think you're also going to see, we even had, let me go to another.
Did you see about the TikTok deal?
Yeah. Yep. So
That's
that helped.
The 18th.
That helped our stocks today. So Wall Street Bank, JP Morgan, even the Bitcoin hating, cryptocurrency hating JP Morgan says stablecoin market could grow to $600 billion by 2028. By the way, that's the lowest estimate I've seen anybody put on the stablecoin market. But it's still dramatically higher than it is right now. And if you read, you'll see JP Morgan said stablecoin supply is up about $100 billion this year. to roughly 308 billion, led by USDT, led by Tether, right, and USDC, Circle. Circle is a publicly traded company. And these two make up the vast majority of this market cap. So this has ballooned to $300 billion. They're saying, by 2028, it's going to be $600 billion. Most people are actually predicting numbers significantly higher than that number. But even this is a double, and that's just for the stable coins. So if the bridge between fiat currency and cryptocurrency is going to double in the next 2 years, then what's going to happen to cryptocurrency? So I think this is very bullish, even though they lowballed this a little bit. If you look around and look at other people's estimates, most are much higher than this. Citi is still a believer in crypto stocks, despite Bitcoin being rocked to the end of the year. So it's talking crypto stocks in general. It's talking about Circle, which we just mentioned, which is the stable coin. Because remember, Circle's business model is you give us money, we keep it and make interest on it. And that's it. Pretty simple. So it's a winning business model. Despite recent token volatility, we remain bullish on digital asset stocks. So they're talking about, they don't specifically call out all of our stocks, but they call out Circle, they call out Coinbase, they call out Bullish, which is another company adding to his treasury, Microstrategy, or now Strategy. So you can see the new price objective of 325 from 485 previously still suggests about 100% upside. But buy rating also received a price target cut following its recent plunge to $160. So they did cut this, but it's still much higher. So the same thing. So here's Riot. It does not mention most of the other Bitcoin miners, but in this article, they do say the bank also, this is Citibank again, the bank also remains positive on Bitcoin miner Riot platforms, though cutting its price target to 23 from 28. It's recently trading at around $14. So they're still giving it a lot of upside. So even in this environment where everyone's super negative and they think the 4-year cycle is over and it's tough times ahead, the 4-year cycle is over, the AI bubble's bursting, gloom, doom, etc. But we still have people think these stocks are going to do well. And I'm one of those people.
Barry, I'm sorry. This is crazy. 3,100 miles. I just can't even imagine.
What?
He's doing something. He's doing the last. It's called the Triple Crown. It's where you hike all 3 trails in the United States.
Oh,
and there's
my.
only 150 hikers in the world have ever done it.
I will not be on that list.
Yeah,
I was just.
that's insane.
That is madness.
And the last one, the Continental Divide, it's 3,100. I can't even imagine doing it like on a motorbike, let alone,
Yeah.
Walking it.
Yeah, I don't even want to drive that far.
I know. I can't imagine. This is all because of BTC, by the way.
Here we go.
Now,
Bitcoin's parabolic arc snaps. Trader Peter Brandt eyes 25K crash floor. Veteran trader Peter Brandt warns that Bitcoin's growth parabola has fractured, potentially leading to a price drop to $25,000. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but essentially
Ace,
that's...
I don't know about anybody else here, but That's like a great buying opportunity to me.
This would be a full 80% pullback. This would be your crypto winner scenario. That would mean we've done the 4-year cycle, 80% pullback from the 126,000, get you somewhere in this neighborhood. If we want to go, we can figure out precisely.
You got to cover HUT next time.
And then that's right, because we said we were going to HUT. Hard to even.
All I know is I wrote early in this segment is I buy BTC once it gets below 80,000 and then DCA in anything below 80.
So here's 80%, 25,200. So he's calling for an exact crypto winter. And well, I'll wait for it. I got one more who's calling for Bitcoin to go even a lot lower than this. So this is what I'm saying. Like, you want to talk FUD? There's some, when 25,000 is not even close to the worst prediction, that we're in some FUD. But let's get to what HUT did, because HUT 8 signs 15-year 245 megawatt AI data center lease at Riverbend campus with total contract value of $7 billion. Plus, we'll get to it, there's a potential extension on that. So here, this is 15 years, 245 megawatts. IT lease valued at $7 billion over the base term and up to $17.7 billion if all renewal options are exercised. Google providing a financial backstop covering obligations for the 15-year base term lease. So, you know, that backstop from Google is a big deal, and we've been seeing a lot of backstops from Google in specific, but other big tech giants backstopping all these deals because they know ultimately this is really all for these guys, right? All of this rolls up into the energy that they need. So HUT 8 had a good run off of this. And remember, this is 245 megawatts. Most of these companies are trying to create a pipeline of 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or more gigawatts. So that's 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 times more power than this. A lot of them already have those pipelines, not built out, but under contract, locked down, ready to go. So this is why, you know, this double revenue stream, and some of these companies aren't even going to be dual revenue anymore. They're just going to, and HUT 8's already one of them. HUT 8's out of Bitcoin. Now, that's not totally true because they're the major shareholder. They're the largest shareholder in ABTC, which obviously is a straight up pure play on Bitcoin mining. So in that regard, they're still involved in Bitcoin. But as for their own operations, they are 100% an energy company now. So here's a $7 billion contract. Not bad. This is what we've been waiting to see out of HUT. And HUT, if we look at the chart, get there. Right, HUT has done very well. This is from April 2025. Now, this goes all the way back to the previous cycle, so we're not even going to go there. Since the previous cycle, HUT has run to new highs. They have not caught their 2021 highs, but this was their 2024 high. A lot of the Bitcoin miners are nowhere near even back to their highs from 2024. A lot of the companies still have to double just to get to this yellow line. HUT's up here, and I think they have room to the upside. So I'm not in this play because I I didn't feel like I had my arms wrapped around. Once they switched out CEOs, they lost me as an investor. But, you know, I hope they do well, and I hope if you guys are invested, you're doing well in this. And this chart looks good to me. I think they continue to move to higher highs, and getting a deal like this is not the last deal they're going to get. 2026, and we had a little bit of a breather, right? 2025 was the year of the AI deals, and it was really the second half of the year we started to see these multi-billion-dollar deals. Now, you can go back a couple years. Core Scientific got a multi-billion-dollar deal from CoreWeave several years ago. Then, of course, CoreWeave put in that offer to buy them, which ultimately got rejected because they said, you know what? What are we going to sell ourselves at $30 for when we think we're going to be $100 a couple years from now? Core Scientific is now at $15.60, by the way. So if we were to go to that one, since they rejected this offer, they have pulled back substantially, but nice line around $15. This was resistance. It's hanging around here as support. So I do think there's a lot of upside to Core Scientific. They fell a little behind on some of their construction. They rejected that offer after over a year of everybody assuming that thing was going to close. When the vote came, they said, no, thank you. So this pulled back from $24-ish. Yeah, and I think what was the buy price for this? $22 or $23, something like that. So they rejected that, and I think that's going to end up being a good thing. But they are pulled back, so they're a discount right now from the offer they already had.
$24.
Yeah, exactly. So congratulations for those of you who took that ride. Not bad. They still do have a lot of Bitcoin mining, by the way, Core Scientific, but it would appear they haven't bought a Bitcoin mining machine in many years. And it seems like just as the machines become not profitable, they're just slowly taking them offline. They're not reporting anymore, but you know, for like an 8 or 10 month period, their exahash was going down, not up. So I think they're just taking their machines offline as they become outdated, and they're going to be a straight up power play. And I think that's the spot that's got a lot of upside.
I got to sneak out. Peace out, everyone.
All right, George. Have a great weekend.
Christmas.
Yes, a Merry Christmas to all. And we will see. I'm going to stick around for a minute, but we'll see.
See you Tuesday. See you back.
All right. Thanks, George. I was saying, as we will see, you will see the members will see George on Tuesday. And I think we're going to take Friday off because I really don't think anybody is going to be looking at the stock market on Friday, the day after Christmas. So then we'll end this poll. Will the high performance computing AI stocks rocket in 2026? And the examples I gave were IREN, TeraWulf, CIFR. I'm leaning towards even inside of the companies that have all shifted to splitting between Bitcoin mining and high performance computing. There's some that are ahead of others. But remember, CleanSpark made a major shift. Riot made a 700 megawatt shift to AI. Bitfarms has basically, ultimately, I think they will have all of their machines turned off prior to the next halving, and they will be a pure play power company. So you're going to see a bunch of these go away. I think some of them will stay, and I think Bitcoin will be worth it because, again, the payoff on Bitcoin right now is at crypto winter lows. So for the Bitcoin miners, this is in fact a crypto winter, you know, as far as the economics of it go. So there's still most of them cash flow positive, even in this environment, which is a little bit of a nightmare. So, I think there's good things ahead. Will you be back on January 2nd? Good question. Yes. Thank you, His Honor. Because that's the day after New Year, and I think people will be more engaged on that day than they are on, and I don't want to take two Fridays off in a row. So we'll be back. That's a great question. Thank you. Yes, we will be back for Tuesday. 2026 will be the year by then. Let me just see if I missed any other. I'll go through. So TerraWolf put out a press release. TerraWolf and FluidStack announced successful pricing of project financing for 168 megawatt high performance compute joint venture. So this joint venture was all already announced. This deal was announced a long time ago, but they have now announced pricing for the project. Now, interestingly, in this press release, they don't bother to tell us what that pricing is. So I went to the 8K here, and it says on December 18th, 2025, TerraWolf announced that, and this gets a little convoluted, but ultimately this is a two-part joint venture, announced that Flash Compute LLC upsized and priced its offering of $1.3 billion aggregate principal amount of senior secured notes due 2030 at an issue price of 7.25% in a private offering to persons reasonably believed to be qualified. Let me get to the part that matters. Flash Compute is a wholly owned subsidiary of FSCS1 LLC, whose equity interests, so you see how this is layered on top of layered on top of layered, but here's where we get to the reality, whose equity interests are owned 50.1% by Big Country Wolf LLC, a subsidiary, and 49.9% by FluidStack. So you can see it's basically a 50-50 joint venture between TerraWolf and FluidStack, and this is a big deal, and they're just announcing the financing on it. So that happened this week. Just to talk about BitDeer, they finally did. They were the last ones. They put out their info. They mined 526 Bitcoin in the month of November. So if we go, if we look, pretty much everybody's giving us monthly operational reports. Wherever you see this blue stuff, these companies aren't giving us reports. It's down to really, I've got two below the line, which I'll explain later. It's really CleanSpark, BitDeer, Riot, and Hive are the only ones giving us monthly operational reports. Core Scientific used to give us daily reports, so you could figure out the month over on X, but they stopped doing that. So one by one, all these have dropped off. Marathon just stopped. They didn't say anything. CIFR just stopped. They didn't say anything about it. So you can see Core Scientific, Bitfarms, Hut, TerraWolf, BitDigital's long gone. So we're not getting a lot of these reports, but you can see this is what we were talking about earlier. CleanSpark 587 in November. BitDeer 526. They added 6.1 exahash in November. That's on top of the 6.2 exahash they added in October. They said they will quickly get to 50 exahash, so they're probably there by now. And somebody earlier in the stream said that right now BitDeer is actually mining more than CleanSpark is. So I think you're going to see, and we're not going to know the numbers, but I think you're going to be looking at Marathon, IREN, CleanSpark, and BitDeer in this 500-600 range. And then Riot, just a one step below that. And then you've got Hive at 290 and growing. They added an exahash. They went to up to 25 exahash this year. So they dramatically, they went, I believe, from 6 to 25 exahash. They have plans to keep growing. So they're dual. They're also doing high performance computing, but they're staying committed to their Bitcoin mining, it would seem, for now. So that's it. These are the reports. The reason I put Kang down here below the line, they mined 547. They also have 50 exahash. I don't know what they're doing, but their cost per coin is about double everybody else's. So I just feel like it's not apples to apples, so I've put them below the line. And Canaan is mining Bitcoin, but they're at 9.4 exahash. They're so much smaller than everybody else at 89 Bitcoin mined that it's not really worth the comparison. Right? These are the big Bitcoin mining companies, some of which aren't even telling us what they're doing anymore. So that's the status of things. If we look at this week, so final numbers for this week. HUT up 7%. So mostly on that deal we just talked about. They just got a $7 billion deal over 15 years that could turn into an even bigger deal than that. BitDeer was up. BitDeer is one of the worst performers of the year. They were up 3% this week. IREN down 1%. Bitcoin down 2%. And then we start to go from CIFR and Riot down 5% all the way to the bottom here. CleanSpark down 14, TeraWolf down 13, Marathon down 12. So this is what I'm saying. Like, this is why I'm buying some of these companies. Now, BitDeer rallied, but it was under $10 this week at one point. And you can see today it was up 10%. So it's at $11.01. Yesterday, it closed at $10.01. So it's been a bunch of the day yesterday under $10. So to me, and Marathon, the same thing. If that drops under $10, I may even do one more of that. I do have my next list of things I want to get to, but man, if they're going to keep giving these away, it's a real hard call for me. So let's take a look at this, because year to date, the next time we look at this, we're going to have final numbers for 2025. Hive actually went negative in the middle of the day, so that green should now be red. Hive is minus 1% on the year. Bitcoin's down 6% on the year. Marathon's down 39% on the year. BitDeer's down 49% of the year. This is why I continued to dollar cost average into these well beyond the others. They're just lagging the field by so much. And Marathon is down 39% in 2025. And if I go to 2024, guess what? Marathon was down 29% in 2024. This is 2 years that Marathon went from, I don't know what exahash they were, maybe whatever, 20 exahash to 60 something exahash in this period of time. And their stock is down drastically. Back-to-back years, down 29%. We thought that was bad last year, but this year's worse. It's down 39%. So if you think they're going to fail, then you're staying away from Marathon. But if you think they're going to succeed, they just got during, Bitcoin in that same time is more than doubled. You can see in that same time, IREN's up Marathon was down 39%. IREN's up 307%. And by the way, it was up a lot more than that earlier in the year. All these things have come way back down to earth. So in April, when everything was red, every single one of these was down between 20 and 70%. I called on April 8th that I felt the majority of these would finish in the green ahead of Bitcoin. And it looks like that's what's going to happen. We're going to have this Hive could go either way. Everything at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are in the green. some of these had really good years. IREN, CIFR, TerraWolf, HUT, all up more than double this year. That's a good year, especially in a year where Bitcoin's down 6%. But there were still some laggers. And if I'm being honest, I thought this chart was going to look better than this by December 31st. So I think everything got pushed back a bit on us. I don't think it's over. I just think it's late. So that's my opinion. We'll go look at what Bitcoin is doing. And we're hanging out over 88,000. So we did jump up to 89,000 for a few minutes yesterday and again today. And we're hanging around at around 88. We got as low as 84. So we'll see what happens over the weekend. We'll see. I think we're headed in the right direction. We're headed in the right direction. So get back to one more number I want to show you guys. December. So this is the month of December. So despite the fact that today was spectacular, the month of December was awful. HUT was the big winner, down 2%. Bitcoin down 3%. And then Riot down 10%, all the way down to Bitfarms down 27%. Bitfarms got wrecked this month, down 27%. Cleanspark down 20%. CIFR down 20%. TerraWolf down 19%. BTDR down 18%. I mean, this just was not a good month. We had high hopes for the fourth quarter, and I feel like they absolutely rug pulled us. We got duped, but I bought into this. So for whatever that's worth, it's not financial advice. Let's hope for a better January. And we do still have some big bankers out there saying they expect a big Christmas rally in the last 2 weeks of the year. I'm not holding my breath. We'll see what happens. So thank you everybody very much for joining us on the live stream. Much appreciated. For the members, we will see you Tuesday. And for everybody else, next Friday, we're taking the day off. It's Christmas weekend. And we will see you guys after the new year. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Everybody have a great and safe time. Enjoy your families and all that stuff. And we'll see you on January 2nd.